All right, Akhilesh. UFC 203 is coming in. Big card, a numbered event, a pay per view card. Heavyweight champion Miocic versus the number three contender, Alistair Overeem. Uh, let's start with let's start with the big name fight. Let's start with CM Punk and Mickey Gall. Okay, I'm a Punk fan. You're a mark, you're a wrestling mark, and I'm a Punk fan. I love the pipe bombs he delivered in WWE. I go on to YouTube and watch it. That's some beautiful work. Okay, but in MMA, I know he's been training he has been training for some while with Gracie's. Now he's in Rufus Sport, and he's coming up against a young, hungry guy, Mickey Gall. I don't
Yeah.
I don't know how to call this one. I don't know. I want Punk to win. Let me be very frank. I'm a fan, but
Yeah.
the you know the kickboxing side of me, the MMA hardcore purist inside of me says he's gonna get his face smashed.
Pretty much. I think that's a pretty accurate way to put things. Um, I don't know. I mean, I'm a big fan of Punk. If I talk about my top three in wrestling, Punk is my number three, with the Undertaker and Daniel Bryan being one and two. So I'm a big CM Punk fan. But MMA, and this is where even a guy like Donald Cerrone was right on the mark. He said, hey, we've been doing this our entire lives, and we're still, not the best. You cannot get a guy to train for 1.5 years, 2 years, and think he's gonna do wonders. And you have another guy in Mickey Gall. I talked to Gall back in January, and I don't think that Gall goes in with any nerves or doubts, because he undoubtedly knows that he's the better fighter. He trains out of three different gyms. He trains out of I think the Miller's gym. He trains out of two different gyms. He goes back and forth. He works on every aspect of his game. And the other thing is, if you've seen his fight on that Dana White's series, as well as his first fight in the UFC,
Looking for a
he looked
fight. Yeah.
so yeah, the Dana White looking for a fight episode, as well as his first fight in the UFC. He looked so comfortable. It did not seem as if the occasion gets to him. He looks like a very temperamental, like a very composed fighter. So, talking about Punk, it was also said that he had lost about 30 of his sparring sessions, mock fights in Rufus Sport. And I don't know, because no one has seen how Punk does. I
Yeah.
think, that
Here's
it could be a wild card. It could be one of those things where he'll come out and shock the entire world and prove himself. But if you go again with what your brain says and not what your heart says, you'll see Punk probably losing in the first round itself.
Here's my critique of Mickey Gall. I think he's too arrogant. He might get caught because he's too arrogant.
I don't think so.
We've seen it
So
happen
if
to the best, like Luke Rockhold versus Michael Bisping.
Yeah, but that's Luke Rockhold and Bisping. This is Gall and Punk. That's like comparing the best of fighters with the elite of fighters with the newcomers. Actually, that's what it is. So you have Punk, who hasn't fought in MMA. And he doesn't have one professional fight under his belt. You have Mickey Gall, who has about two professional fights under his belt.
How
So
many amateur fights has he been through, Mickey Gall? Look,
I think about 6 or 7,
so
if I
that
remember correctly.
so this guy is almost 10-0.
Yeah, so that is one thing, and the other thing is, if you have seen the sparring sessions that were shown on the CM Punk
Evolution of
UFC
Punk thing,
series,
yeah.
yeah, the Evolution of Punk series. If you have seen his sparring sessions, it did not look too correct. Technically, he looked very, very
They were
amateurish.
let's be
And
frank. Let's be frank. Duke Rufus was telling him how to throw a punch. Okay, he was at that level. He didn't know how to throw a punch.
no, so throwing a punch is very different when you. So this is what I have conversed with a lot of people. The difference between throwing punches in, say, boxing and in MMA. MMA and boxing and MMA is completely different, but boxing as in professional boxing is completely different.
Yeah, because
Uh,
let me tell you what's the difference. So in a kickboxing or an MMA fight, you usually adopt a karate stance where you throw a punch, you basically shoot in, shoot out. For that, your punch needs to come from from your ribs to the face. Okay,
right.
so basically, he was throwing punches like as if he was a brawler.
Right. And even when you saw him throwing combinations, like for example his uppercut, that became a meme on social media because he was taking that hand of his from way behind his back and all the way drilling his opponent's face, and that was an uppercut. He
Yeah,
was throwing such huge uppercuts. You don't do
yeah,
that.
yeah. It reminded me of Street Fighter. Like, sure you can think, you know.
Right.
So I know, but that's what we saw over there was with him in 3 months. I don't know what he's now.
Right, so that's what I'm saying. So that could be this could be an instance where Punk comes out and he shocks the entire world, or this could be that instance where Punk comes out and loses in the first round.
Yeah.
I think Mickey Gall will finish Punk in the first round if I have to go with a prediction. And looking back at the predictions I had for UFC Fight Night 93, I think I'm pretty okay with all of these. So
Since
I
I'm
think
okay,
all
since I'm okay with losing, let me just say I'm going with Punk.
right. So